Hello everyone, we have a very nice machine here. It's a Yamaha RefaceCS, and the customer told me that the sustain is not working. Okay, it's playing, and as we can see, the attack works. The delay is working, but the sustain is not sustaining. If you use a shorter delay, so as you can see, the sustain is not working. So let's take it apart and see if we can do anything to it. Let's take it apart. They have a little tab that you need to press to free the connectors, and they all get free. Now I only need to free the ground strap. So now everything is separated. Around here we should have our sustain potentiometer. It's this one right here, and I need to check if everything is well soldered. It looks like, and then we will see if there's something wrong around here on this circuit board. So these are the built-in speakers, the whole power supply board, and the capacitors and speakers and all the keys. Everything on this board looks okay, nothing suspicious. So let's turn our attentions to the upper board. So here is our sustain potentiometer, and I will mark it to know where it is. This one. Let's check the values of the potentiometers. So multimeter in resistance mode. Let's put the lighting in a way that you can see, more or less like this. I don't know what the value is on the potentiometer, but here, as you can see, as I vary the potentiometers, the value goes up and down along the range. That is on the attack. Here is the potentiometer for the delay, and as you can see, it goes the same way. So it goes up and down. It goes up until the mid position, then it goes down again until it's full. It's common to have this behavior on the envelope generator. And here we have a weird value. Yep, and we move the potentiometer for the sustain up and down, and as you can see, there is no change on the multimeter. So we have a problem with the potentiometer on the sustain position. Yeah, it will be troublesome because we need to take this whole board apart, and it has about 1 million screws. So yeah, we need to disassemble it and I need to check if I need to remove all these caps up, because yeah, I'll probably need to remove everything to get into this board. So let's start disassembling. This one is bent. I'll probably take my time to put it upright. I will not be able to take this board apart without taking this bar, this metal bar apart. So we need to free all of these hooks. So let's remove the pitch bender. Yeah, remember that there are no shortcuts on this job. So let's take everything apart to get to the final step that we need. So I prefer to do it by hand. I end up with a sore hand usually, as now, but usually it pays off in the quality of the work. So here we have our potentiometer board. These are our LED panels. You can just clean it because they were dusty. And here we have our ADSR. It's the third potentiometer that is our sustain. So I can remove this now from the top of the table, and here we have our board. This is our problematic potentiometer. This is it. I will mark it with an S to know that this is the shit. Sustain is this one. This one is delay. ADSR. And as you can see, when I select any potentiometer up and down, it changes the value, but on the potentiometer for the sustain, nothing happens. So let's first look inside of it. All the tracks look good comparing to the other potentiometers. The aspect is similar. Yeah, I might need to take it apart and see what's wrong with it. Yeah, I think we have a faulty potentiometer. It's a 10K. Yeah, the other potentiometers are very strong, and this one is, I can feel the housing a lot loose, so it might be something to do with this, and it's not making a good contact. Let's see if we can have any difference by wiggling it. No, not really. No. Well, I'll get the desoldering gun and let's take this potentiometer apart because it doesn't look healthy. I'll first put some leaded solder in to make it easier for our desoldering gun to suck the old solder. That's something you can do while the desoldering gun is heating. And by doing this, you change the composition of the original solder that is on the board to make it easier to desolder, and you will also put some heat in the board so that the desoldering gun will not start from zero. So that's a nice tip. And then you put some unleaded solder that has a lower melting point, and it will help to desolder the component more easily. So you give it a wiggle. You need to be sure that you have a good gap around the pin, so when everything is melted you suck and wiggle it up in order for air to pass around the pin, and when air passes around the pin, the whole temperature of the zone will decrease, and it will avoid the pin to stuck to the outer surfaces. And if you do this the right way and carefully, you will have this easy pull off of the part. So that's always the objective when you're using a desoldering gun, to do this, to clear the pins, and the parts should fall right off. So now we have our potentiometer. Let's check if we have any values from it. Yeah, the potentiometer for the sustain is not good. So let's take this potentiometer apart. I need to open up these small tabs. Whoops. Yeah, this middle tab, as you can see, that is grounded. Yeah, it's part of the whole housing. I can see that there is a lot of cleaning liquid that has been sprayed in here already, to see if some problem could be solved. It doesn't smell like WD-40, so I hope nobody used any corrosive stuff in here. So okay, so let's take this thing apart and see what's wrong with it. So the brushes inside the potentiometer doesn't look too bad, but they look a bit dark, and two of them are very low in position. I don't know if you can see this. I think it's better to use the microscope to show it. So this is the PCB, and we have 3 pins here. From this pin to this pin there should be a signal when that thing is assembled there, but there's none. But from this pin to this pin there should be a more or less 10k resistance. So the problem I think we have is these metal pins are not making a good contact with these 2 tracks in order to pass current from this track to the right one for the output. So I think the fix will be as simple as that. We just need to make sure that these contacts will be okay. I'll get the microscope to show you how I will try to fix this problem, because I think this is the only problem that we have on this potentiometer. Here it is. Let me focus. So here, as you can see, here we have these 2 contacts that are a lot lower than those 3. These are all a bit dirty, and as you can see, we have here some problems. So the springs on the back are a bit squashed up, so we need to increase the tension on those springs, and the springs on the front are a bit too much pressed, especially these 2 in here. Yeah, we need to push this thing a little bit up. We need to clean it, and I think after doing this we are good to go to reassemble the potentiometer. So let's check its position regarding the other pin. Let's pull this thing up a bit. Yeah, it looks nicer right now. We can lift this one too. It won't hurt to lift it a bit. And then we give a good clean, and everything should be good to go. I will just increase the tension on these springs if possible. I can remove this plastic thing and remove these springs up and give them a little more tension. So I will just bend them up a bit, bend them up a bit. Same thing here, same thing here. Okay, so now we need to be careful because there is a right way to reassemble this. As you can see, this is a pocket done on this plastic side, and on the other side of this part there is no pocket on the plastic part. As you can see, there's only the injection gate here and there's nothing here. So if you look carefully to the plastic part that holds the spring, there's a little protrusion here that will engage in this pocket. So we need to be careful and install this turned up to the pocket side. Okay, pocket there, protrusion there, and you should be able to clip it down there. Okay, so here it is, reassembled. So let's clean these pins. I've already given them some tension. Let's clean them with contact cleaner, and we will see what we can do to make the sustain work again. Let's try to leave no fur behind. Yeah, it looks fine. Let's reassemble it on the potentiometer body. As you can see, the tracks on the potentiometer look absolutely perfect. This potentiometer has still a long life ahead, and you can see that this is totally over molded. You can see some burrs and some flash over the PCB irregularities. So yeah, this is typical from an over molded part. So let's reassemble everything and check if we can have any kind of continuity. So I'll put everything together like this, and here we have a right way to reassemble because of these indentations. Yeah, and here it is. You need to feel a little springiness in here, as you can see. Let me show it on the microscope. As you can see, when you are reassembling a potentiometer like this, you need to feel this springiness. Okay? Feeling this springiness will allow you to know that you are using the springs inside to make a good contact against the board. So let's bend these hooks up, put the metal frame in here, bend the hooks, and see if everything is working fine. The shorter side of this plate should be turned to these two pins, and the longer side of the plate to the single pin. So I've only bent two pins, this one, and this one, and now I can test if the potentiometer is working. So let's grab the multimeter, resistance mode, yep, and we have values. Yep. Yeah, now I know that this potentiometer will work on the sustain circuit. Must be like this. It's meshed against that middle one. This is hard to film because the focus of the microscope is very sensitive. Yeah, pressing well. Pressing well. These two are pressing well also. Just reinforce this one. Yeah. And now the whole potentiometer is okay. So sliding up and down smoothly and giving us the 10K value it has. So let's reassemble it to the board and test the synthesizer. So now this thing is harder to fix. I'll try to straighten it up, but I need 2 pairs of pliers to do it. So what I'll try to do is a risky thing where I hold the bottom part of this button. I'll hold it still and use the upper bit to straighten it up. Yep, it worked a little. Let's try to do a little bit more. Yep, it's almost perfect. Not perfect, but almost. It's a lot better than it was. So I think the handle will be straight up and it will look perfect. Let's just check if this potentiometer is also measuring right. It looks alive. Yeah, it looks okay. So let's reassemble everything and test if we have sustain now. I was using external speakers, but I think I'll use the internal ones on here. Will it turn on? Yep, turns on. Is it normal not to have sound on the internal speakers. Yeah. I think that's another problem. Yeah, that's another problem, I think. So let's put on the external ones and see if we have anything. Okay. We had a cutoff. We have a sustain. Let's take off the release. Delay, shorter delay. Okay, this is a shorter delay. Yeah, sustain is working. Yep, if we leave a longer release. Let's check the internal speakers. They don't play at all. So we have another problem. Internal speakers not working. Even if we turn it off and on again. Yep, nothing. No internal sound. So we only have sound. Calm down. Yep, everything works. The sustain is working, but now we have no sound on the internal speakers. So let's see what's wrong with it. And so today is the next morning, and I've been looking at the user manual. The user manual states that there is a combination of keys when powering this thing up that turns on and off the internal speakers. And I don't know, the past owner of this might have disabled it. So I think it's pressing the second key and turning it on. Let's see if it does something. Okay, some lights flashed. It's working! Yeah, the internal speakers are working. Everything is fixed. So let's put everything together and make some weird noises. Let's go. here this small pointy thing inside this corner. This is an engineering trick for injection molded parts, and you can see that care was taken when designing this thing. On to the final test. So turning it on, startup sequence, and now we should have some sounds, yeah, if we didn't mess up with all the stuff. Everything's working fine. Delay and sustain is okay. Yep, everything is working. So our synthesizer is fixed. And so, wrapping things up, this pretty synthesizer is fixed. It's playing well in its internal speakers and external speakers as well. The sustain is working. Everything is good. Now we just need to find someone who can play it. Not me, unfortunately. So, thank you very much for watching, and I hope I can see you in the next one. Bye bye.